Okay, last lecture we told you how to look at a resistor and take those colors and turn them into numbers. This time, I'm going to tell you how to take the numbers and turn them into colors. So, let's look at this, because this is what you do most of the time. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, even if you're working out of a tool room, even if you're working out of a stock room, you don't take anybody's word for what a resistor is. You read that thing. You make sure it's what it's supposed to be before you've got a handful of stuff in your hand that's not going to work and you've walked 1,000 feet to get it. So, let's say you need a bunch of 2.4 kilo ohm resistors. Now folks, let me tell you something. I'm relatively certain that not a single one of you got put down by the doctor on the day you were born and walked out of that delivery room under your own power. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. Put yourself in that position now, because that's basically where you are with this. If you want to make sure you get this right until you get used to doing it, follow the steps that I'm going to give you. Do not try to shortcut it. Odds are you'll screw it up. So, a 2.4 kilo ohm resistor. The very first thing I'm going to do is take this 2.4K and turn that into a regular, just plain old number. So what have I got here? I've got 2.4 times 1,000. Remember, that's what that K means. It means 1,000. 2.4 times 1,000. Well, what is that? That is 2,400. That's 2.4 times 1,000. It is not 24,000. Okay, so what's this mean? What does this mean? It means I've got 24 times 100. That's what it means. So if I go back and I look at my chart tells me that 2 is red, 4 is yellow, and 100 times 100 actually is also red. So my resistor then should be red, yellow, red. Well, I didn't specify a tolerance for this resistor. This would just be something that you looked up. What if it was plus or minus 5%? Well, plus or minus 5% comes all the way down here, and that's gold. We don't do anything with it. We just interpret it. We just read it. So the resistors that you better have in your hand are red, yellow, red, gold. That is how you, what I say is calling a resistor. Taking a printed out number, because this is what you get. Nobody's going to give you a list of color codes to go get. This is what you get. Something like this, and you have to interpret that into some color code to make sure that you're getting what you're supposed to have. So, there's one of them. Let's do another one. Let's look at orange, blue, brown, silver. Okay, I take my first two colors. That's 36. Brown is times 10, plus or minus 10%. 360 ohms, plus or minus 10%. Again, this is how you read a resistor. But if I want to call this resistor, I'm starting here and I'm going back to the color code. So I've got 36 times 10 plus or minus 10%. And once again, I'm just going to read that plus or minus 10%. Times 10 here, 36 there. Now I'm going to give you a few seconds. You'll see that what you got here, again, is orange, blue, brown, and then silver. Same theory as before. I wanted to do this to show you, you know, it really does work. You can go either way. But the trick to it is no matter what this number is here, write it out in standard notation. Always take, oh well, until you get to where you can do it without even thinking about it, always take that number and write it out in standard format or standard notation, whichever you want to call it. I'm going to call it format because that's a shorter word. Always write it out in standard format and then break it up. Remember also, for 4-band color code, try pushing the button. For 4-band color codes, you have 2 digits, multiplier, and then tolerance. And for a 5-band resistor, you have 3 digits, the multiplier. Man, my fingers are getting way in advance of my brain here. And then the tolerance. They're always going to be in that order with that number of digits. 2 together, the multiplier, the tolerance. 3 together, the multiplier and the tolerance. But the process for calling a resistor, the process for reading a resistor is always the same, no matter whether you have a 4-band or a 5-band resistor. Now, this particular lecture is pretty short because there's not a whole lot to cover. We don't have to go over the color codes again. We don't have to go over anything like that. You will get used to this. This is something that you're going to do on a regular basis in lab. By the end of the semester, you'll be looking at this going, why did I ever need it? So we'll see you in lab.